lesson is our last lesson in Review 3. In this lesson, we are reviewing Lesson 109, I Rest in God, and Lesson 110, I Am as God Created Me. Let's review Lesson 109. I rest in God. We ask for rest today and quietness, unshaken by the world's appearances. We ask for peace and stillness in the midst of all the turmoil born of clashing dreams. We ask for safety and for happiness, although we seem to look on danger and on sorrow. And we have the thought that will answer our asking with what we request. This is such an important review. Rest is one of the most important things that we can do. This has been one of the hardest lessons for me, to just stop, to rest in God, to remove myself from the busyness of the world, turn off the social media, turn off the news. That's all going to happen without our help, without our involvement. We don't need to stress or worry about it. Things continually change out there in the world, but the peace of God is always with us. We don't help by getting all worked up and upset about it. We rest, just rest. I challenge you today to really take the time to do this on your hourly and your half-hour practice sessions, to really take a moment of rest, literally remove ourselves from the world and abide in God's peace and love and safety. I love this next part. I rest in God, completely undismayed. This thought will carry you through storms and strife, past misery and pain, past loss and death, and onward to the certainty of God. There is no suffering it cannot heal. There is no problem that it cannot solve, and no appearance but will turn to truth before the eyes of you who rest in God. I would suggest that you write down Lesson 109 somewhere where you can remember to return back to this lesson anytime that you feel yourself caught up in the stress and the upset and the turmoil of the world. The truth of who we are is pure consciousness, true light. We are having this human experience in which our ego wants to drag us down to feel all of the pain and suffering that goes on in this world. That does not help. We want to lift people out of that, help people to see that there is a completely different way to look at what is going on, that we can help others to come to the peace of God and to learn how to rest in God. I just love this last bit. Each hour that you take your rest today, is a tired mind is suddenly made glad. A bird with broken wings begins to sing. A stream long dry begins to flow. The world is born again each time you rest, and hourly remember that you came to bring the peace of God into the world, that it might take its rest along with you. Remember, we are all part of the greater consciousness, so what we do makes a difference to the whole. This is a great incentive for me to continue on with practicing these lessons, to do what the lessons suggest, to really take the time today and every day to rest in God. I cannot encourage you strongly enough to do this. Back to Lesson 120. I rest in God. I rest in God today and let Him work in me and through me while I rest in Him in quiet and in perfect certainty. It is not in listening to these lessons and listening to me go on and on, as I love to do. It is in the rest that you're going to experience the real growth in your spirit. In the rest, we let God work in us. He works in us while we rest in Him. We can trust it. We can believe it. It is absolutely true. This is our morning practice and our hourly practice. I rest in God. Let's move on to the second part of Lesson 120. This is a review of Lesson 110. I am as God created me. I love this one as well. Please remember that this doesn't mean that God created this body. I don't know who did. I think my mom and dad. God created my true essence. God created your true essence, and we are all part of the same soup. We all are swimming in the same ocean of love. That is who we are. We are true love. We are pure light. We are as God created us, every single one of us. We are all one. Let's take a look back at lesson 110. If you remain as God created you, fear has no meaning. Evil is not real, and misery and death do not exist. We are pure love. These things are from the world of the ego. They don't even exist. We don't have to pay any attention to them. If you remain as God created you, appearances cannot replace the truth. Health cannot turn to sickness, nor can death be a substitute for life or fear for love. All of this has not occurred if you remain as God created you. We want to remain in truth. We want to remain in health. And we want to remain in life. And we want to remain in love. Let's read on. The healing power of today's idea is limitless. It is the birthplace of all miracles, the great restorer of the truth to the awareness of the world. Practice today's idea with gratitude. This is the truth that comes to set you free. This is the truth that God has promised you. This is the world in which all sorrow ends. Isn't that a joyful thought? There is no limit to the power of this idea. I am as God created me. You are as God created you. We have been here since the beginning of time, and we will continue on long after these body shells have left the earth. We want to practice this idea with gratitude. Being grateful for this idea, I am as God created me, lifts us up and above the world of sorrows. This takes us to a higher place where we can truly experience the glory of God. Let's go back to lesson 120. I am as God created me. I am God's son. Today I lay aside all sick illusions of myself and let my Father tell me who I really am. Let's talk about it. Who are you really? Are you listening to the ideas of the world? Are you listening to the old lies that you heard when you were a child and even in your earlier adulthood? Or are you listening to the Word of God? Are you listening to the messages that we have been reading now for 120 days? Are you accepting that you truly are love and light? You are God's beautiful, beloved child. Let's lay aside all sick illusions of ourselves and embrace the truth of who we are. Let's go back and finish reading Review 3. What I love about the reviews is it tells us we are never finished with these lessons. We can keep these lessons and come back to them as often as we want. There's nothing saying that we need to push ahead to complete the lessons in 1 year. Nothing like that. If you find a lesson that you really love or that really speaks to your heart, go back to it again and again. Ponder it, live it, practice it. This is where the real change occurs. And I love how the review finishes. Do not forget how little you have learned. Do not forget how much you can learn now. Do not forget your Father's need of you. As you review these thoughts He gave to you. For our morning and our hourly sessions, we want to review Lesson 109, I Rest in God. I rest in God today and let Him work in me and through me while I rest in Him in quiet and in perfect certainty. Just sit with this reading. Let it absorb into your very being as you go about your day. And be sure to stop and truly rest in God. Our evening practice, and on the half hour, review Lesson 110. I am as God created me. I am God's son. Today I lay aside all sick illusions of myself and let my Father tell me who I really am. Again, really sit with this. Let your Father tell you who you really are. Accept the love, joy, peace, and happiness that comes only from truly resting in God.
Thanks so much for staying right until the end, my friends. If you enjoyed today's video, please share the love. Tell others about these videos. Encourage them to start at lesson 1 and only do 1 lesson a day. Are you ready for our special treat?
I just want to show you this beautiful primavera. Primavera is Spanish for spring, and we have these primavera trees growing all over here in Mexico. I'm going to just take you down a little bit further to show another primavera that is even more beautiful, more amazing, more gorgeous, and that's a big guy. He's just all the way down here. Let's see if we can get in and get a little bit closer. See the petals there all over the ground. It's like a blanket of beautiful yellow. And there's another view of the tree. But this isn't all, folks. You can see over in the distance, there's lots of these growing all over. It's just creates such a beautiful view. Everywhere we go, we see these gorgeous yellow trees. I just love, love, love Mexico, my friends. Have a wonderful day of resting in God and accepting that you are exactly as God created you. I love you.